Hello, I've got a video for you here that's going to be looking at part of the syllabus of the ICDL Advanced Qualification Presentation Software using the application's PowerPoint. This one's going to be looking at, we've already done drawn objects, now we're going to look at the pictures. So it's quite a large area otherwise, so I split it up. So if you are just looking at how you can do lots of things with images and pictures, this is a really good area as well. And it gets into cropping and editing at a little bit deeper level, so you can do a lot more with those sorts of things. But it's lots of things you can apply that you can find. So the format tab is quite good, and also you'll find that the other areas that you can get into both sides, whether you're using the task pane or whether you're using the actual format tab itself. There's loads of features on there that you can do to pictures to make your presentation that little bit more exciting, and include related things that you want to have put in rather than just picking up a picture from the internet. So I hope you enjoy this one. As I said, part of the syllabus for this, but also if you want to just find out a few more extra things about PowerPoint, that might help as well. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Okay, there's a little bit more going on with regard to how we can manipulate pictures, etc. And there's such a thing as recolouring, picture correction, stuff like that, and artistic effects. So you can do this to pictures brought in. Let's open up the theatre presentation so we can get an example of this. Back to our work files, and there's the theatre presentation there. So we've got some pictures here. I know they're quite oldie worldy looking as such, but they're good for recolour. They're good to see it in action. So go to your format, and then you've got these features here. Colour correction, colours there, corrections there. Artistic effects aren't there because it's not a graphic. Okay, so colour correction we can use, so you can make it more like presentation background or less. And then you've got things where you can apply grayscale, you can have black and white. There's lots of things like accent colours that you can use, giving it a tinge. So all those sorts of things are all in there. If you right click on a picture and go to format picture, the things that you will get, the artistic things are there, but they're not available because, like I said, it's not the right sort of picture. But then you've got this picture feature here, so that does give you picture correction, sharpness, brightness, that depth again, and then the picture colour as well. And then it's got a feature that we haven't come across as yet. That's where the crop is positioned. We'll look at this later, but when you crop in advanced PowerPoint, you're always cropping using the top. So if we have a look at this picture and I add to the 7, so I make it 9.97, to see how it crops from the top. If I made it 5, guess what happened? It cropped from the bottom. So when they use, we'll have a look later at cropping a bit more, but they talk about cropping from the top, or cropping so that the bottom is no longer there. So it's always a bit tricky, and we'll look at how they approach that. So colour corrections and colour as in recolour are all there, and you can also get very much more detail in here with brightness, contrast, etc. So it's not too difficult using it appropriately. So back to our presentation, and we're talking about here about graphics being placed in the background of a slide. So if we've got graphics, remember we used this before, the hide background graphics option. You could be asked to use it in an exam. So just to remind ourselves, let's open up the shapes, which I think should have been the one I saved, but I've left it open, thankfully. Here we go. So this would be the shapes one. And we're going to bring in a picture. So we're going to bring in a picture and see what we can do with it. So if we insert the butterfly from our folder, so there's pictures, and go to, it's on my desktop. So this is more of a graphic, photograph if you like. There's our butterfly. Now, a butterfly will have artistic effects. So we come down here and there they are. So you can see you can do lots of different things. So there's really lots to choose from. And also, if you're in an exam, they could ask you to do lots of different things. So they may ask you to apply. So you can see there's artistic effects in action. If you, you've got a picture box there and those same correction, picture and crop is there, and in here click on there, we should get the option to do the picture color and stuff like that as well. See how different it can look. Picture position 5, chop the top of it off. Okay, so artistic effects, a little bit more to it, and they're always, when you click on it, they're always available here as well as the task pane. Okay, so if we've got to now look at some other things, one thing you could do is you can actually draw, we're going to draw another shape. Let's do a circle, remember shift, bring it up, that one over. We can actually fill this with a picture as well. And this always looks good, doesn't it? So if we right click and we fill and go to picture, we could bring in something from our files or something off the internet, but generally best to have them on files so you're not scrambling around to find it. And you can bring in a picture and manipulate that. And then you could even go on to this format and you could do an artistic effect on that to make it look whirly and a little bit different. So other things you can do to when you bring things in, we brought in the butterfly and we did some artistic effects to it. We can also bring in a linked picture. So if we're bringing in a linked picture, so if we're asked to bring in a linked picture, we'd select it and then make sure that we drop down the insert link to file or insert link is used depending on the question. Okay, if they want to link the picture to a file or insert a link, that's how you do it. So usually use link to file, and that's a way of making sure that you've brought in a linked picture. So moving on to our PowerPoint again, back to here, it talks and reminds us here about that graphic, about making sure that you hide the graphic. So if we use that PowerPoint I've just popped here, if we put a graphic in here, do you remember how we had a slide master? Let's go to the top one and let's insert picture. Let's bring in volleyball, reduce it quite far down, pop it in the corner. You can see it's in all of them. Then when you close your slide master and you've got it on your top one, that one you can, if you right click, go to format background and you can click hide graphic. You can see it disappear, you can see it come back, and you can hide the graphic so that it doesn't come on the first slide, because you really don't need a logo or something else on your introductory slide. Okay, another little thing before we move on and finish with the cropping is to actually use that alt text we talked about earlier. So if you've got a graphic in your presentation and you go to the feature size and properties, you will find the alt text there. So they may ask you to put in the butterfly. I'll tell you exactly what they want to put in. beautiful. I was going to put butterfly. And then they may ask you to pop in some text. Make sure you spell it properly. Okay, I've changed my mind too much. And then that would be there if somebody wanted to use screen reader, and you probably do a lot more graphics to apply that to it. So that's your text alternative, which comes up on the next slide. There's your graphics, there's your picture, formatting it, size and position, all those different things. And there's the alt text just before that. And you can see there's your grids that we've used. And then we're going to be looking now at the crop just to make sure things are clear. So we'll switch to that. Probably a better way of getting around, I think, to the presentation we've got. Let's put in a new slide and let's bring in let's insert the good old ostrich that we've all come to love. Okay, it's quite a big ostrich. You'll notice that if we go into the crop area, if we just drop this up, the area here, then you've got this from the top. That's the area they come from. It's about crop position and not the crop itself. The crop, as you know or may not know, if you click on a crop, you can crop unnecessary space from a picture. They also have a feature in the syllabus that you would be expected to crop aspect ratio 2:3, 3:4, 1:1. So you can have that will not come up in the format picture area. It just comes up here. So be aware of aspect ratio cropping comes up here. Crop to shape is when you've got a shape where it will crop like that. So quite useful. But the cropping, as far as this is concerned, if we increase it by 1, takes it off the top. If we decrease it back to 4, back to there, take it down to 3, and it starts changing things. So be really careful when they talk about cropping the crop position top. So if we go back to the slide to make a bit more, there's that aspect ratio. And then if we go down to the next slide, we're talking about the height of something. And when they say height, they're talking about the crop position, and they're talking about the top being increased or decreased according to the question. Final part of this week 3 lecture is that just to show you how you can save images, different formats. I'm sure you all do it all the time. So we've got an image here. Better actually to use a butterfly or something. So you've got an image here, and you've got save as picture as picture. I always say that. You've got a GIF, as the slide says, that's been quite big. You can go to a JPEG, a bitmap, and not a PNG, but tend to use these two more. So you do a JPEG, like I said, it'd be a lot smaller, and to bring in on presentation, particularly if you're doing it on a web-based internet download. So just be aware of those things. I'm going to do the weekly revision for week 3, questions 5 to 10 in the next video series. So thank you.